Hey, welcome back to 10 Minute Mentor. I'm your host, Rich Perry, joined by Ava Compton, my co host. Ava, what is going on today?
I got some good questions about confidence today.
Confidence. All
Yep.
right, all right, all right. All right, Ava, what is the question that you have as it relates to confidence?
What advice would you give to someone who is nervous about starting their career?
All right. What advice would I give to someone who is nervous, you said, about starting their career?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, I'm going to give a quick and then we'll go into it. Okay. Remember, everyone has had a starting point. Oh, what was it? Oh, from Harry Potter. When do you watch Harry? You like Harry Potter?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay. It was what it was one of the later ones, but Harry says something about it might have been Order of the Phoenix when he says all the great wizards in the world started out just as students like we are, right? He said something along those
hmm
lines. I think it was Order of the Phoenix when he's training everybody. Anyway, okay. But I mean, it's true. I mean, like, yeah, it's a fictional story, but think of anyone great, an Olympian, because we just had the Olympics recently, or your favorite musician, or the big successful business person. They all started out from somewhere. So that just remember that everyone was where you are right now. Okay. So if that, like, let that, it's some little bit put you at ease. Okay. But you're like, oh, but Rich, blah, 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 this and that. Okay. So, but at least remember that everyone has started out from somewhere. Everyone has started from the beginning at some point in their lives. Okay. But now, how is that going to relate to you, young professionals watching this right now? One of the best things that I can share with you is to go into that experience with the learning mindset of realizing everyone has started out where I'm starting out right now. Okay. I know that I want to be successful. I know that I want to accomplish great things here. I know that I want to do well in this job. Um, and go in there thinking, hey, in the beginning, let me just learn as much as possible. Let me soak it all up, absorb it all like a sponge, and I'm just going to learn. Okay. Think about Ava when you started this internship with me, right? The first like 1 or 2 weeks, it was just learning. It was okay, like, this is what Rich wants me to do. I've got to learn this thing. Now I'm able to practice it. Okay. And folks, watching it at home, going with that mindset of I just need to learn this and I'm going to learn it to the best of my ability. And then once I'm done learning it, now it's time to start practicing it. Okay. And Ava, you'll remember we talked about this before, is the competence and confidence loop. Okay. And the more you do a thing, you become competent in it. When you're just starting out, it's going to fall on your face a lot. All right. But the more you do it, you become competent. And then as you do it more, you start to gain confidence. And you're like, hey, you know what? I'm doing okay. Yeah, it's still a little sloppy. Yeah, I fell on my face once or twice this week, but I'm doing a lot more. I'm doing a lot better, right? Like that little toddler, he takes that first step, falls flat on his face. But the more he takes those steps, he gets a little bit better, gets a little bit better, gets a little better. And as you get more competent in a thing, you become more confident in a thing. When you become even more competent, you're doing it better, faster, quicker, stronger. You get even more confident. And you keep going around, and the more you're doing it, you're getting better at it and you're feeling more confident. Okay. but it has to start somewhere. You have to just start practicing it. Okay. So that would be one of the first things that I could say. Another thing would be in addition to practicing it is looking for feedback, and that could be feedback that you get from yourself. Maybe if you're practicing public speaking, okay, you might want to record your presentation, record your speech, and then watch it back. If there's any sports people in the watching right now, you probably had your games recorded, right? And then you watch it the next day. Oh, we could have done this better. We should have done this better, right? So you're watching, getting that feedback and saying, oh, well, I could have done this better. Okay. You can ask a mentor, you can ask a coach, you can ask an advisor and get their feedback. So those would be ways that you can learn the thing, become more competent in the thing, and gain more confidence to do it bigger and better and more effectively and more proficiently. So those would be some tips that I would have. Ava, do you have anything along those lines? Anything else that you wanted to ask, or throwing it back at you there, sister?
Yeah, I do have another follow-up actually.
Okay.
I was wondering what is one mindset shift that helps people believe their value?
One mindset shift. I'm going to give you a practice that will then help shift that mindset. Okay. So this is a tangible that will then help that shift take place. Okay. I don't have it next to me, but Ava, you know that I use my quarterly planner, my Lifey planner, and we talked about that. And even you and Allie, like we have that self-assessment thing, that self-assessment form that I make you ladies fill out each time you're in the office, right?
Yeah.
One of the items there was, what is something you did well today? What is a victory that you are celebrating? It could be a big win, or it could be a small win. Okay. But you're taking time out of your day to recognize something that you did well and you're celebrating it. Not every day is going to be that gold medal day. Okay. Not every day is going to be that, that big accomplishment. However, you can celebrate a step toward that. Okay. You can celebrate that milestone helping you get that much closer to that end goal. But it's taking time every day to celebrate that and recognize how much better you are today than you were yesterday. And if you install that behavior, if you make that a daily habit of celebrating your victories, big or small, that's going to help shift that mindset. And then you're going to start to look for more ways that you're succeeding and progressing, as opposed to thinking that you're stagnant or just, not doing as well as you should. That is going to create profound change and a mindset shift for you by installing that daily, by implementing that daily behavior. Absolutely. So that's something that I would encourage. And let me ask you real quick, as you're doing the self-assessments and that when that line item comes up of what's something that I did well today, what's something I'm celebrating, what have you noticed, taking time to recognize your own accomplishments for the day? Have you seen any change in mindset or any change in perspective or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps giving yourself a pat on the back, even like you said, for the small wins. Even when days I don't feel as productive, when I see that line, I'm like, okay, wait, I did do something. I can respond to this line. So I think it's definitely good for your mindset.
Absolutely. And again, it doesn't have to be some big thing. It might just, on some days, it might be, I woke up today and I did one thing and I did that thing and I did it to the best of my ability. I didn't win any gold medals today. I didn't, make that $1 million sale. That's okay. Like, you got up and you gave it your best effort. You took time to give yourself credit, to recognize that you did it, and tomorrow's going to be better, right? But you're focusing on that positive. You're focusing on progressing every single day and taking that next step. That's going to be a huge mindset shift. So definitely take advantage of that. Ava, thank you for hanging out here. 10-Minute Mentor. I didn't put up the banner before, but folks, if you've got a question, drop it in there. If you've got a comment or you've got something that you want to add to the conversation, drop that in there as well. Ava and I will be monitoring the comments thread, and we'll keep the conversation going. And like I said, if you've got a question, drop it there, and maybe it's something that we'll address on a future episode of 10-Minute Mentor. Ava, thanks for hanging out with me today, folks. We will see you in the next episode. Thanks, and be excellent.